Welcome to Wines du Jour. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we normally broadcast from, but tonight we're at my favorite pizza parlor in Las Vegas. That's called deMarcos, the best pizza and regular food that you've ever had. I said pizza parlor, but it is not really a pizza parlor. It's a restaurant that features pizza New York style. Now, if you've ever been to New York, you probably know about deMarcos. If you've not been, come on over here to this one on Charleston and Blvd, and you'll have a good time. Now, we're going to have 3 old wines tonight. We're talking about 2002, 2006, 2008, and there's 2 of those are Cabernet Sauvignons, and one of them is what we call America's varietal called Zinfandel. Not white Zinfandel, Zinfandel. That would be red, if you know what I mean. So tonight we're going to pair some food from deMarcos' kitchen. The chef has done a beautiful job. You like meatballs? Check these out. We're going to have them a little bit later. And one of the most popular Italian items in America is called baked ziti. That's what we're going to have, baked ziti with a Zinfandel 2002, as a matter of fact. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back all around the world on Wines du Jour. Thanks for watching. See you in a few minutes.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just 1 receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome to Wines du Jour. We're having a good time here tonight. We're at one of my favorite places to have pizza or Italian food in general. It's deMarcos. That's in Las Vegas. They're fairly new and they're from New York. Now that means that it's a chain because there's several of them around the country, and they just moved to Las Vegas and they're just killing people here. They're having a great time. People love the food at this particular restaurant. Tonight we're going to pair our first wine with a wine from Napa, California. Now, it's not a typical wine that you would buy in a retail store because it has a little age on it. This is 2008. Now, that's pretty old for red wine, but not for Napa. And tonight, we're really happy that Chateau St. Jean, which is the winery from Napa, California, has gone out all over California and picked up grapes, if you will, and then made wine from those grapes. That's the way they tell you on the label where the grapes came from, and in this case it came from the whole state of California. So it says Chateau St. Jean, California, 2008 Cabernet Sauvignon. And the chef here at deMarcos has put one of the America's most favorite pastas, as they call it in Italy. In America we call it pasta. It is called baked ziti. Now, baked ziti is pretty simple. You can see it here in a skillet. I think the presentation is very good. I'm going to taste it in just a minute, but first I want to taste the Chateau St. Jean 2008 Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, one of the things that you want to notice about this particular wine is that if you could see up close, and I know you really can't, there's a little kind of an orange ring around the outside of the glass. That tells me, knowing a little bit about wine, that there's some old wine in that glass. How old is going to be determined by how wide that orange band is. And it's not that wide, and it's really not that old, but it's certainly not young wine. 2008 is the perfect year to be drinking Cabernet if you like Cabernet. So we like to swirl wine before we drink it. That gives us a chance to get some of the liquid up the side of the glass. Then we stick our nose in it, and in this case, blackberry, different kinds of fruit, currants. And because it has a little age on it, and it's Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa, one of the unique tastes here that we have, you don't see on Cabernet Sauvignons from other places around the world necessarily, is asparagus. A little asparagus in this is actually pretty nice. A little bit of olive, that would be, you know, Italian to a lot of people, although there's a lot of olives in California, and there's a lot of vineyards next to olive orchards, and therefore, I think, somehow Mother Nature puts a little bit of olive into some of these grapes. Kind of a neat thing, actually. So that's pretty good to taste now. One of the neat things about this wine is it has what we call a long, lingering finish. And that just means that when you swallow it, you can continue tasting it for a few seconds after that. That's not a bad thing, that's a very good thing. This is about $15 in the retail store. Chances are you might not be able to find Chateau St. Jean 2008 Cabernet, but you can ask for it. Maybe they can get it. If not, get one of the later dates, 2009, 11, whatever the current one might be. I'm going to taste this ziti now. Baked ziti is pretty easy to make. It doesn't take too much. It has a little red pasta sauce. You can have the pasta shapes, whatever you happen to like. A little pasta sauce, sometimes a little meat sauce instead of strictly a non-meat red sauce. And then a little bit of cheese on top. Stick it in the oven, bake it until it's ready, about 350 for about 45 minutes. This goes very, very nice together. Dom deMarcos has been around for a while in New York, and everybody loves their pizza. You know, different parts of the country have pizza made a little bit different. In New York and in the West Coast, we have what we call thin crust pizza. If you go to Chicago, as an example, their favorite pizza is Chicago style, they call it, and what we would call thick crust. It's kind of like a whole pie, if you know what I mean, in thickness. And then the flavoring is on the top. Some people like that, some people don't. I love the New York pizza or the California style pizza or the thin crust pizza. So that's what we have. We've got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit with the owner of Dom deMarcos. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these messages.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back. We're having a good time here at Dom deMarcos, and I thought it'd be fun to, since he happens to be in town, is to get the owner of Dom deMarcos to come over here and talk to us a little bit about what Dom deMarcos is all about. I told you before we went to the break about how I love that thin crust pizza that they do back in New York, and they're doing the same thing here, and people in Las Vegas are loving it. But my guest tonight, Al Scalliot, sorry about that.
All right.
Thank you very much for allowing us to come over to your restaurant and enjoy some of your food and hospitality.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, you know, you've been in the business for a little while. Anybody that owns a restaurant that's as large as this, you know exactly what's going on. How did you get started in the business? What made you get into the restaurant business?
Well, I'm a big foodie, and I
Yeah.
guess that was a big part of it.
Okay.
But I learned to make pizza at an early age in my aunt's restaurant, and I opened my first pizzeria in 1966. So
Wow, 1966. Well, there's a lot of people working here that weren't even born then.
there sure are. Yeah.
Well, pizza is a beautiful thing. Comes to us from Naples in Italy. That's where it was considered to be the very first pizza made, was in Naples. And they actually have a school in Italy that you must, if you're going to be in the pizza business, you must attend the school, and you get a certificate, and then that allows you to go out and find a job in a pizzeria. That's kind of wild. We don't do that here in America, but that's the way it is back there. Well, the good part is the people that go through the school really know how to make pizza. They know what type of flour works best, what type of yeast to work, how to make the different sauces and all the different accoutrements that go on top of it. How did you do it? Did you just learn by what your aunt was doing? Or how did
I
that work?
originally learned from my aunt, and then I opened my own place in '66.
Uh-huh.
I started making pizza maybe when I was 10 years old in '53, '54. But then when I opened my place, I was 22 in '66, and I used her recipe. And I did that for years and years and years. And then I kept reading about Dom DeMarco in Brooklyn, the Farah Pizza. And so finally one time, we went there, and I fell in love with his pizza. And this was in 2006. So from 2006 to 2009, I negotiated with Dom, and he was hard to negotiate with. And
well, all Italians are, aren't they?
Well,
you're not an exception either, So between the two of you, you're lucky you didn't have a fight.
well, the best thing that happened was when he said to me, he speaks broken English, where are your people from in Italy? And I said, Naples. And he said he was from Naples.
Uh-huh.
And he said, well, what town? And I told him, and he said, well, I'm from Caserta, which is only 20 minutes from your hometown. He said, and when I was in the Italian army, I spent 2 years in your town.
No kidding.
And I think this is what cemented our relationship.
That broke the ice.
And this was in '66, but still it didn't take till '69 when he and I made an agreement. And then my son-in-law, Jeff Lepore, and I started going there every weekend. See, Dom closes on Monday and Tuesday in Brooklyn.
I see.
So we would go on Sunday night, have pizza with Dom, and then Monday and Tuesday we'd go in with him and make pizza. And he came to this country in '59 from Caserta, which is Naples, and he opened his pizzeria that he still has in '64. And I think it was in 1999, the New York Times did a front page article about him, and ever since then he's been rated #1 in New York by Zagat, New York Times, the Daily News, the Post. But his pizza is just out of this world. And when I tasted this pizza, I said, Dom, I'd love to bring this to Vegas. And then finally in 2011, we were lucky enough. We made it happen.
Well, people think that pizza is pizza, and God knows that's not even close to true. But one of the unique things about pizza is not just whether you put anchovies or shrimp on the top. That's not what we're really talking about. It's the actual pizza itself. People from Italy, I'm going to give you an example. They like pasta. They call it pasta. They like pasta and have a little sauce with their pasta. When they make pizza, they have a pizza and they put a little sauce to go with the pizza. It's not the sauce. Television commercials in America, they promote cheese. The more cheese, the better. Sorry, folks, that's not the real good pizza. But the fact is, if the taste of the pizza itself is good, everything else falls into place. You agree with that?
Well, absolutely. It's purely subjective. I love all kind of pizza.
Uh-huh.
But my favorite happens to be Dom DeMarco's pizza. But if I'm somewhere and they're having Neapolitan pizza, I'll eat it, or some other pizza, because I like pizza.
Santa Margherita, whatever. Yeah.
But I make the pizza that I love.
Oh, that's good. Now, what is in the crust, the actual dough, that makes it taste a little bit different? Can you share that with us?
Well, it's Dom. Like I said, it took me 3 years to negotiate with Dom, because he experimented for 30 years until he came up with the right recipe. And there's a lot of things that, people think pizza is easy. It's, you could make any kind of a pizza and that's easy, but if you want to make a specific kind of pizza like Dom makes, it's really hard to make, and you really have to practice it. And it's the ingredients. It's
Well, it's more than water, flour, and yeast.
It's more
Maybe
than
a little
water,
egg.
flour, and yeast. Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, because something is expensive doesn't always make it better.
True.
But in some cases, it does make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the case with tomatoes, it is the case with olive oil, and it is the case with flour.
Well, that's a real good point. You know, you talk about tomatoes, and I'm sure you're talking about tomatoes from Italy as opposed to from New York's.
There's we use our tomatoes are what they call DOP. It's the same thing they use in wine to designate the area that it came from. Our tomatoes come from Mount Vesuvius. They're grown in that soil. They're 3 times more expensive than any other tomatoes you could buy.
And 10 times tastier.
And it makes a difference. They're
Absolutely.
so much tastier. So these are the little things that add up.
Well, all the information you've given us about pizza dough and making pizzas is good, but you know, one of the things that Chef Ramon has done is made a pretty nice little salad. He calls it a Mediterranean salad. A Mediterranean salad tentatively and most typically has tomatoes and maybe Kalamata olives, a little vinegar and oil, and so on and so forth, maybe a little garbanzo beans, some cheese, and it's very nice. But the wine that we're featuring this particular segment is actually from Penfold. Penfold is the winery. It's, I think, number 2 in size in Australia. In Australia, they also grow not just the wines that they like down there, they grow Cabernet Sauvignon like they do almost anywhere else in the world. And that's what we have here. A 2008 Penfold Thomas Highland Cabernet Sauvignon. This is tasty. It retails for about $14. I've had a chance to taste it before we went on the air, and I have to tell you, it's pretty good. $14 is a bargain for a good Cabernet Sauvignon, and I have to tell you, I would search it out if I were you, and don't buy 1 or 2, buy 3 or 4 bottles. You don't have to drink them at one time, but at least you've got it before they run out. This is very, very good. So thanks for watching us. We got to go to a break. Thanks, Al, for being my guest.
You're welcome.
When we come back, I've got something completely new for you to know about, that maybe if you take wine on a trip, here's a trick on how you can keep it from breaking. Be back right after these messages.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just 1 receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back to Wines du Jour. We're ready to taste wine number 3. Wine number 3 is a 2002, yes, I said 2002, Zinfandel, and it comes to us from the Lake Sonoma Winery in Dry Creek, California. It's absolutely outstanding, and Chef Remo has taken a family recipe of Dom deMarcos and made meatballs to go along with it. But before we talk about that, I've got something more important. I know everybody here goes on trips from time to time. And if you especially go by plane, you get there and you run to the liquor store and buy a bottle of wine or so to take to your room because you're afraid to take the wine with you in your suitcase because you're liable to end up with red clothes, if you know what I mean. We solved that problem. Take a look at this. Wine Skin. Wine Skin is a product that is super cool, very inexpensive, and a great way you can take 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 bottles with you, depending on how much underwear you have. You know, have room for 3 or 4 or 5 bottles in your luggage. The good thing is this works. You put your bottle in there, you seal it up, and if for some reason that the bottle does break, like somebody hits it with a hammer, you know, something stupid, and it breaks, it's sealed up to where it doesn't run all over your clothes. So that's protection. And you can take your favorite wine. That means if you've got a special occasion coming and that's why you're going on a trip, maybe you have a special wine that you'd like to have with that special occasion. You can take it with you if you have it in your wine cellar. That's a beautiful thing. Well, somebody had to think of this. Aaron Snyder, my guest sitting next to me, is a gentleman, and along with his wife, that put wineskin on the market. First of all, Aaron, thanks for coming all the way from Texas to talk to us about your product.
Well, thank you for having
and
me.
tell us a little bit about wineskin and how it happened as far as getting it into production is concerned.
Well, actually, back in 2006, my wife and I got married, and as we were coming back, the terrorist attempt, the liquid shoe bomber coming out of London, that event happened, and as we finally made our way through London back into the States, we friends of ours in the wine trade had mentioned that this new regulation by the Transportation Security Administration decimated the on-premise sales from wineries. And we thought there's got to be a product out here that could help alleviate the stress of, well, what do I do with the bottles that I buy? Well, now that I can't even buy any, or if I do buy them, I have to wrap them in underwear, wrap them with the bubble wrap. What do we do? So after a few iterations, we designed wineskin. As you can see, it's the shape of a bottle, so it doesn't take a lot of space in your luggage. It has 2 seals, so you get maximum security as far as it leaking out if it happens to break. I wouldn't put a hammer to it. We don't say it's break proof. It is definitely break resistant. And from that, you can transport the wine back home safely and securely. Well, we say it's not insurance for your wine bottle, it's insurance for your clothes. The worst thing that could happen is you have thousands of dollars in cleaning bills, maybe some dresses, nice suits that are destroyed. This will help maintain the juice inside the wine.
Well, I'm a fan of yours before tonight, I can tell you that. But tell me, where can we find this? Do we have to order them online, or we could go to the local wine store? How does that work?
Fortunately, due to some great sales reps we have in the United States, we're around the country. We have big box retailers from Total Wine and More, Specs in Texas, Bevmo.
Those are the big boys?
Exactly, and more than that, we're also in 16 countries around the world.
No kidding.
So all the major
Well,
wine.
you mentioned Total Wines. Total Wines is a place where I do classes here in Las Vegas, and I happen to know they have 74 stores, going on 75 coming up pretty quick. So there's a lot of places that wineskin is available. Just go in and ask for it at a retail wine store. If they don't have it, they can order it. It's not a problem. This meatball, I think we've got to taste this meatball before we run out of time. We'll try one, see what you think. Lake Sonoma 02 Zinfandel. Unbelievable. That's all the time we have. Excuse me for talking with my mouth full, but this is a delicious meatball. So we got to go. Thanks for watching Wine du Jour.
VAsianTV, the community channel for Asian Americans in Las Vegas.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just 1 receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.